Hi, amigos. Welcome, one. Welcome, all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And I hope you guys are excited. We've got a wonderful show up ahead. So, everybody, hop on board. Subidos. Ya estamos con las dudas. Hey, you guys can help me out with my Spanish on this English adventure known as the show with no name. So everybody hop on board because it's time for liftoff.
T minus 10,
9,
8,
7, oh wait,
7,
6, no,
6,
4.
5,
Oh my God.
4, 3,
And I'm supposed to teach
2,
my daughter?
1.
Here we go,
0.
folks.
Ignition.
Here we go.
Liftoff.
Come on. Get up there. Get on up. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to another exciting edition, folks. Now we are officially airborne, and we're going on an exciting adventure. Fijaos la preposición. We're going on an adventure. So everybody, come on board. Get ready to have some fun. Get ready to share. And, well, who knows? Whatever else comes up. Lo que surja. Whatever else comes up. Do you guys know how to use this else? Where else have you heard this? En qué otro lugar? When else can you learn English and have fun? En qué otro momento? Well, all day here on Vaughn Radio, thankfully. Right? Who else is coming to the party? Right? I don't hear a lot of Spanish speakers who are learning English use this else. So I want you guys to practice that. There's some homework for you. We can brush up on that else. Is anybody else coming? Who else did you speak to? Where else were you this summer? Think of your own examples, but the idea is to master each structure. And not just master the structure written, but to master the structure also spoken, right? So we want to know how to write it. We want to understand it if somebody says it to us. And we also, of course, want to know how to say it ourselves. So welcome aboard, my amigos. Welcome aboard. We've got another amazing edition of the show. Tons of surprises. I can guarantee, te lo puedo garantizar. And I'm sure you guys are bringing your own surprises because you guys always bring the magic with you. And a nice round of applause before we even get started. That's leftover, sobrante. That's leftover from yesterday. So keep up the great, you guys, seriously, you're doing a great job. So listen to this. You're doing a great job. Keep up the great work. ¿Qué pasa ahí? Pues no se pueden mezclar. So you're en mi cabeza estaba haciéndolo. So keep up the great work and you're doing a great job. Well, either way, however you want to word it, you guys are the epitome, personificación, the epitome, the personification, si te viene más fácil, of hard work paying off. El empeño dando frutos, ¿no? Teniendo sus méritos. So guys, welcome back to another day of the show with no name. Just want to remind you right now too, here at Vaughn, we've got so many different initiatives. We've got our summer camps that are opened up right now. We've got trivia night. I have so many different ways that you can get involved, from courses to new materials. We've got our trivia night with Guy Williams. That's March 1st. Mark your calendars. If you can make it, it would be great to see you. My wife and I are making arrangements to be there. It's, again, March 1st, 2023. It's at Roll Madrid, and it'll be hosted by Guy Williams, the host of Western Civilization, and it's going to be a blast. But I'll warn you ahead of time. I'll forewarn you, preveniros. Guy's questions are really tricky. Son muy difíciles. They are really tricky, but it's not about getting the questions right. As we always say, it's not about winning or losing. It's about participating. It's about having a good time. So even we can apply that to the show with no name here, okay? If you guys are here to have a good time, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. The important thing is that you learn something. And another way, aside from taking a look at our summer camps, our one-to-ones, we've got so many different things from online courses. Go to our website. It's grupovon.com, and you'll find everything you need. If what you're looking for is materials for self-study, that's vontienda.com. Also, don't forget, we're now available with that Amazon assistant. What was her name again? Ahora puedes aprender inglés con Vaughan y Alexa de Amazon. Solo tienes que decir:
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
Bienvenido a Aprende Idiomas con Alexa. Hoy vas a poder aprender lecciones de inglés nivel iniciación con Alexa en colaboración con Vaughan. Podrás aprender desde nuevo vocabulario a pronunciación y mucho más. Cada lección contiene secciones de práctica y de preguntas. Empecemos. Veamos ahora 5 actividades con el verbo ir.
To go.
Ir al gimnasio es.
To go to the gym.
La G de
Gym.
suena casi como una H.
To go to the gym.
Dilo tú.
To go to the gym.
Correcto.
Eso es. Practica inglés con Vaughan y con Alexa de Amazon. Acuérdate, solo tienes que decir:
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
esto sí que es un...
Buen comienzo. Te toca.
That's right, folks. And Bob's your uncle. Y voilà. Y punto. Y ahí lo tienes. And Bob's your uncle. We learned that expression the other day. Guys, also make sure, aside from checking out our website, our online bookshop, make sure you're following us on social media, following Vaughn, following me. You'll learn English. You'll find out about all our upcoming events, and you'll do really well in our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. That's right, folks. It is our pop quiz only on the show with no name. And this one comes from my buddy Kyle Miller, the host of Drive Time. You can catch it every day on Vaughn Radio. Kyle is an amazing teacher, and his program will motivate you. You'll be driven once you listen to Drive Time. You get it? Driven, motivado. So you'll be driven if you listen to Drive Time. That's a great catchphrase for the show. You can tune in live, or you can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, you've got a new episode of FYI dropping tomorrow, and I wonder what it's about. Me pregunto de qué va. I wonder what it's about. Well, maybe it's about the 7 wonders. Okay, well, the 7 wonders. And this was an episode that one of my students suggested. So if you guys have any suggestions for upcoming episodes, let me know. Right now, I'm working on currently, right now, I'm working on a donuts episode. And you can imagine I'm like eating my microphone as I do the episode. So my amigos, tons of ways to learn English following Vaughn, listening to the Vaughn Radio app, or downloading our shows. If you like the shows, spread the word, let us know. We love to hear from you. And in fact, I'm speaking of hearing from you guys, I see we've got a message here in our inbox in nuestro buzón. So we'll listen to that in just a moment. Let's look at the pop quiz. Again, this is from my buddy Kyle Miller, and it's from his very successful program, Drive Time. And here it is. Here's your translation. Siempre estás buscando a alguien a quien echar la culpa. Okay? So siempre estás buscando a alguien a quien echar la culpa. And before you even translate it, don't you hate those kind of people? Okay. Well, hey, it's a good translation to know, because we all know people who are, y no te lo voy a decir, you're going to tell me the translation. Also, folks, I put together a little radio ad, una cuña para la radio, to tell you guys more about the Oxford initiative that we have, folks. And here's all the info. I'd love to hear your feedback on the radio ad too, because I made it myself. I hope you guys like it. Here it is. I don't think it's aired on the radio yet, so this is a debut. It's Oxford and Vaughan. ¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
All right, folks, what do you think? I put it together myself. I recorded it. Well, I didn't write it. The text, I have to be honest, I took the text right out of our newsletter. As employees at Vaughan, I think it's really cool. I was telling Fitz the other day, we have a newsletter. So we find out about other employees, special deals for employees, and upcoming things that we've got, initiatives like this. So I put it together of my own accord. I said, let me just record what it says, put in some British music. And yes, you heard correctly. Vaughan will be an official testing center for the Oxford Test of English. That is amazing news for all of us. And folks, I also wanted to remind you, if you want to leave us a message, I've got a message right now. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it's somebody from back in the day. As you know, we meet some crazy characters from back in the day, or sometimes we hear from you guys, which I'm still waiting to hear from many of you. Some of you have participated already. If you'd like to send me and your classmates a 1-minute voice message, you can do it on your phone and then send it to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovaughan, and you can join in on the fun, and I can even help you with your pronunciation. So if you haven't participated yet, what are you waiting for? All right, well, let's see who called us today. Hi, thanks for calling the show with no name. I can't get to the phone right now, so please leave a message after the tone. Can you tell me a joke?
What's he so funny? Because
What's your favorite animal?
the flamingo.
The flamingo's your favorite animal?
Yeah. I shall know names. I hope you need to meet you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye, amigos.
Oh my God, are you serious? That was my daughter sending you guys a shout out. She said, "Hey, show with no namers. I hope to meet you soon. Have a wonderful day." And then she sounded just like her father. Bye, amigos. So there's my daughter, Lara, even participating in the initiative. So we've heard from family members. We've heard from former presidents. Remember, Bill Clinton called in one day as well. And we're waiting to hear from you. If you'd like to participate, it's real simple. It's send a 1-minute voice message in your best English, share something with us, and you can send it to aalonso@grupovon.com. Let's go on over to our chat room and see who is ready to rock. ¿Quién está listo para acción? Born to Iron Man, there he is. What's up, buddy? He says, "Morning, amigos. Let's fulfill our penchant for the show with no name." Oh my God, very formal. Oh my God. Wow, I like it. You're using some big words there. Remember, guys, but as I said the other day, I think I was saying it to Kubla, if you start to use words like ironically, maybe, you sound way too formal. I just want to let you know the goal is to sound natural and casual, right? So I get it. I know you're trying to impress me with the vocabulary, but let's not go too far where it's like you're addressing me every day. Te diriges a mí como y, como la Biblia. Okay, so I'm just saying, because that, even though the vocabulary is great, and the same as the example yesterday, it's not natural. And we're looking for natural English here. So great job, though. A penchant. I don't even know how to say that in Spanish. Let's look it up. A penchant is afición, inclinación. Okay, a penchant. Wow. Let's fulfill a penchant. It sounds like something that, like Shakespearean. I love it, though. You are a poet born to Iron Man. And there's your poet in crime, Kubla. And he says, "Good morning, tantalizing rank and file." Oh my God. You guys are getting too formal for me, man. Remember, I'm an informal guy, casual, as we say, cash. Let's keep it light, guys. Keep it light. This isn't a laboratory. We're not doing a science experiment. I love it, though. I tell you to show off, but just want to give you, let's not go so far where now you're walking around like, "Thou shalt not kill thy neighbor." You're like, whoa. Why, who taught you English? Moises? Monse says, "Morning, singer, teacher, and students." Oh, yeah, that's right. I am a singer teacher, according to my daughter. Hey, I'll take it. Let's see. Kubla says, "We'd better make the grade. Dar la talla." Good expression, and no es forzada. We'd better make the grade or else. That's right. To make the grade, I think dar la talla would be. And Kubla says, "Right back at you. Lo mismo te digo." Marta says, "Good morning. Finally, I don't have to work outside today." Marta, are you a gardener? Jardinera? Construction worker? You have to work outside normally? All right, I know what you're saying, but I'm just teasing you. Te estoy vacilando. So we would say in English, "I'm working from home today," or I'm working in the office today, right? But outside sounds like en el exterior. No en el mundo exterior, sino como al aire libre. Okay, I love it, though. Maybe that's what you're saying. Just want to let you know. So good morning. Finally, I don't have to work out of the office, out of the house today. I can stay in, puedo quedarme en tal sitio a trabajar. I missed you, Marta. We missed you too. And Marta, we'd love to hear from you too in our voice messages. Remember, guys, if you want to send a voice message, it's alonso@grupovon.com. There's Chris Valrol. What's up, Chris? She says, "Morning. Great to see you, Alberto and Mace. I'm also making arrangements to be in Madrid on March 1st. Do you guys need more incentive than that? You really need more incentive than that? Cris Valrol is coming from, she doesn't live in Madrid, by the way, and she's making arrangements, and that'll be her second time coming. So as my buddy Fitz says, no excuses. Awesome, Chris. Looking forward to seeing you. Monse says, you're always searching for someone to blame on. No, I'm not. Oh, wait, you're I get it. You're participating in the pop quiz. Of course. Right. Well, Monse, I'm going to just make a couple adjustments. You're always searching for someone to blame it on. So tendríamos que poner el it. You're always searching for someone to blame it on. Or you're always searching for someone to blame. So it's interesting. If we put the indirect object there, well, the direct object, excuse me. So excellent. Okay, you made a little mistake, but that's how we learn. Right? Now we know two different ways that it's correct. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, you always looking for someone to blame. It's cool, Born to Iron Man, I don't get you. So you go from Shakespeare to Harlem. Harlem 1995, hip hop, You always looking for someone to blame. I like it, but you're just going to two extremes here, buddy. I imagine you wanted to say you're always looking for someone to blame. Let's see. Kubla. I love it. Kubla's using that else. You're always looking for someone else to blame. Excellent job. Wonderful. Let's see. Kubla says, it's always great to be in the know, enterado, about the Vaughn world. Yeah, definitely. Kubla, we hope you can make it to the trivia night too. Okay. Let's see. Monse says, have a wonderful day. You too, sweetie. Oh, thank you so much, Monse. I'm blushing. Oh, you mean my daughter? Oh, okay, all right. Guys, I'm kidding, right? I'm just playing around. You know my style. You know my steez. Kubla says, wow, what a lovely voice. Oh, and she's under the weather. Está malita. So she's been coughing, the poor thing, pobrecilla, been coughing up her lungs for the last 2-3 days. You like that, right? She still sounds awesome. Let's see. Chris Valrol says, Lara, she's wonderful. Oh, I know. In fact, she wanted to be here today. She goes, Papi, can I come to your class? Because sometimes when I have my weekly class with my students, she'll come in at the end. But on the radio, it's different because with my students, it's a very small group. I don't mind people seeing her face. But, you get what I'm saying. I'm protecting. But you can hear her voice. She participates more than many of you, at least in the leave a message section, where you can leave us a message. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, no doubt little Lara has someone else in her family to look up to. Oh, I see what you're doing there, guys. Great job with the else. There's Kubla and Born to Iron Man using that else. And just when I requested it, too, I said, you guys should start using it. There you go. Excellent job, guys. And Born to Iron Man, to look up to. Great phrasal verb. Admirar, to look up to. Jaime, I think you asked me this question the other day, and I think I answered it the other day, but I'm going to do it again. Now, this is for nobody else. Everybody just go get a cup of coffee. Everybody just relax, because this is for Jaime. Because I think I said it 2 or 3 times today, but I'll say it again. If you want to send me a voice message, you can send it to my work email. It's write it down, jot it down. It's aalonzo@groupofvaughn.com. It's aalonzo@groupofvaughn.com. All right? Somebody write it down for Jaime. I'm going to give it to you in the spelling bee, Jaime, and then you're going to have to get it. There's Nihad. What's up, Nihad? He says, my house is on fire because Alberto is streaming right now. Good morning, beautiful people, Nihad. Always a pleasure to have you with us every day here on the show with no name. Well, guys, we've got so much to do. We got so much to do in the show with no name. We're going to play every day when we say what we say. It's the show with no name. And you know what time it is right now. It's time to take a quick commercial break on the show with no name. Folks, we'll be right back with tons more show with no name. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, you got tons of amazing programs all day long. You got Tosh Pasqua and Back to Basics. You got Kyle Miller and Drive Time. Guy Williams and Western Civilization. You got The Salad with Dave Boyce. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. No Excuses with Fitz. And remember, if you want to catch every single episode, download our free app or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iVox. Remember, a lot of the shows are streamed live as well. You can watch the shows live. That's another reason you guys should follow us on social media. Also, follow Tosh Pasqua if you haven't yet. I know many of you already do, but Tosh Pasqua has recently started sharing videos. Many of you know I've been sharing videos on social media every day, a little video teaching you some concept in English. And Tosh is doing the same thing. And I've just got one word for you guys. Lucky. You're lucky. Yeah, you are so lucky that Tosh decided I'm going to bring my teaching to social media because she was already, she already had posts that had to do with her show, but now she's actually teaching in front of a camera on social media. If you are not following Tosh Pasqua, you are totally missing out. She is one of the greatest teachers out there. So follow us all, follow Vaughn, and this way you'll be in the know and you'll be the first one to know the book fair dates as well. We haven't posted them anywhere. I know them because, well, I'm trying to plan my life around those 3 weekends. So mark your calendars now. The reason I'm telling you so far in advance is because you know how this works, guys. You know exactly how this works. You think you have time, and then it's right around the corner. It happens with Christmas every year. You're like, what? Christmas is here already? How did that happen? Same thing's going to happen with the book fair. So mark your calendars. It'll be kicking off on May 26th, and it'll go until June 11th. I don't know my exact dates. That's the only information I have now, but hopefully you can make arrangements, lo usamos otra vez, to be in Madrid and come check us out. And if all goes according to plan, I don't like to jinx things, and no me gusta ser gafe, we'll have an amazing surprise for everybody at the book fair this year. Stay tuned, follow us, and you won't miss out. Folks, it's time for today's Say What? Say what? That's right, amigos. It's the Say What soundbite, only on the show with no name. As always, we're going to hear a famous person speaking. We're going to hear this audio clip 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to write it all down. Initially, I just want you to give me your observations based on what you heard. All right, so folks, grab your pens, grab your notebook, grab your tablet, wherever you jot things down, and I want you to write this down. This is the first listen of today's Say What soundbite.
Now, most people after a breakup are like, I'm gonna get in better shape. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya.
All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Okay. That is your Say What soundbite. Let me give you a little clue. The last sentence is not English. Well, I don't think it is. I think the person, since they said something about a language, so don't think of that last word or two being English words, because they're not. Okay? It's part of the joke. Okay? Are we ready? I'm going to give it to you a second time, and then I'd love to hear what you guys heard. All right? Everybody ready? This is the second listen of the Say What soundbite.
Now, most people after a breakup are like, I'm gonna get in better shape. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya.
All right. There you go. You're going to hear that an additional 2 times here on the show. I'd like to see if you guys can get it. I'm more interested, obviously, in the English part than the last 3 words. The last 3 words are not English, all right? So for me, even if you don't get those last 3 words, that's no big deal, okay? No es una gran cosa. It's no big deal. All right, so what did you guys hear? Is that person from my country? Is that person from Australia? Perhaps Ireland? I don't know. What kind of accent did you hear? In the meantime, while you guys are thinking it over, let's kick off today's Spelling Bee. 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 That's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's our Spelling Bee, and this is an activity we do when we're kids in the United States. I remember doing spelling bees all throughout grade school, or elementary school as we call it. And I totally remember. I was pretty good at it too. Now I don't know, but I was pretty good. I remember one time, okay, one time that I made a mistake and I spelt the word donut, D-O-N-U-T. Es irónico. It's ironic right now that I'm working on an episode about donuts, but I have some kind of trauma with this word because I remember it was just me and somebody else, and this person was a brain. No, this was the typical person that everybody looked at and said, whoa, you expect this person to win the spelling bee. Me, I was just a decent speller, so I wasn't a brain. Okay, yo no era el genio de la clase, as you can imagine. I was the class chatterbox. And I remember teachers telling me, shut up, stop talking all day. And you know what? Now I talk. That's what I do. So it's funny. There's the irony that we always find in life. All right, so let's take a look at your comments and see what you guys came up with. All right, Monse is the first one to participate in the Say What soundbite. Let's see what Monse has to say. Monse's got a great ear because she's always listening to, or not listening to, I should say, watching series. So Monse, you can tell, se nota. Let's see what Monse had to say. She said that was an American comedian talking about how people decide to get in shape after a breakup. But as he already was in good shape, he decided to learn a new language instead. Keep trying, man. Monse, you not only expressed yourself perfectly, but it was natural, right? It wasn't forced. It was, there was no it was perfectly. And your personality came through. Salió tu personalidad. Because keep trying, man. Como no va a ser hoy que vas a aprender ese idioma. So excellent, Monse. Exactly what I wanted. Let's see. Kubla says, I heard an American man, probably a stand-up performer, discussing shape. He said he's already in prime shape, so he had to learn a new language. Estoy en rueda, like wheel. Okay, interesting. Good stuff. Let's see. Leonardo says, this athlete is addressing an audience. Excellent, Leonardo. I'll tell you what, a lot of people make a mistake and say addressing to, refiriéndose a, pero no has puesto ese to. Awesome job. This athlete is addressing an audience in which he is saying that he doesn't care that some people criticize him because he is not in shape after the break. Careful there, because break is descanso and break up is ruptura. So I think you wanted to say break up. And it is because he is studying languages. So interesting. Everybody heard something about a breakup. Everybody heard something about languages. All right. Well, folks, excellent job. Everybody who participated nailed it. Just a couple little mistakes in there, which is normal. That's if you didn't make mistakes, you wouldn't be here, right? So making mistakes is great because then we can identify some areas where we need to work on, right? I was going to say problematic areas, pero ¿por qué son problemáticas? They're not problematic. We just got to work on them. We weren't familiar with that structure. Nunca habías usado el referirse a. And Leonardo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you using that word once incorrectly. Did you say once he's referring to an audience? Addressing was the one. He's addressing to an audience. Si no me equivoco, if I'm not mistaken, Leo, you said it once with two, and now you said it without two. Is that correct? So meaning that you made that mistake the first time you used it, and now you've corrected it. I could be wrong. It could be another student. Thankfully, I have a lot of students, but I'm paying attention to your progress, amigos. All right, well, here's the toughest section on the show with no name. It's our spelling bee, and this is the lightning round. Are you ready? These are names, so capitalize the first name and the last name. Here we go. The first name on our list is ED space SULLIVAN. The second one is JOHN space LENNON. The third one is PAUL space MCARTNEY. The fourth one is GEORGE space HARRISON. The fifth one is RINGO space STARR. And the last one is BRIAN space EPSTEIN. That was what we call a lightning round. All right, let's see if anybody got it on the first go. We've also got Nihad participating in our Say What soundbite. Let's see what Nihad had to say. He says, an American comedian in his show is claiming that most people after the break think about improving their shape. Now, again, just want to explain something to you guys. If you say the break, you're saying el descanso, like when we take a break, a commercial break. But if you want to say ruptura, it's break up. Pero bueno, eso, si eso lo hemos visto dos veces, a la tercera va la vencida. Third time's a charm, as we say. So after the breakup, most people after the breakup think about improving their shape, but they realize they already have. So then they start thinking to learn a new language. Ojo con nihad, just be careful. It's thinking about learning a new language in vez de thinking to learn. Thinking about learning a new language. All right. Excellent job, guys. Wonderful job. All right. Let's take a look over here. We've got some people participating in our Say What soundbite over here. No, not Say What soundbite. Well, we just looked at that. I mean, our spelling bee. And let's see. Wow. I guess I had to go faster over here because holy cow. I see 1. I see 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness. I see a lot of people who have figured it out. The first person to get it, and it looks right to me. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for your classmate, Kubla. All right. And in fact, I got to say something. Marta, Born to Iron Man, and Lupe, they spelt the second name. Maybe they spelt it right, but I mean, they didn't spell it the way I spelt it. In fact, let's check it out. I'm talking about the name McCartney. Let's see how it's spelled. Maybe I misspelled it. So yes, there are 2 C's in there. It's McCartney, but I didn't spell it with 2 C's. So that was you guys using your sense memory saying, pues yo sé cómo se escribe su nombre. Kubla, you spelled it like me, which is incorrect, but you still win because that's the way I spelled it. Okay, but just for the record, que conste, for the record, it's McCartney. So this time, I'm going to spell it correctly, okay? De hecho, vamos a cambiarlo aquí. Voy a añadir una C. And see, I'm surprised that thing didn't correct it, right? The spell checker. All right. I'm going to do this list again over here. I think this is a pretty easy list based on the amount of people who got it already. Also, I mean, these names, even if you didn't get it, you're like, oh, okay, I know the rest of this. Oh, I know that they're so well known. I mean, icons, iconos. All right, so here we go with round 2. The first name is ED space SULLIVAN. The second one is JOHN space LENNON. The third one is PAUL space MCCARTNEY. The fourth one is GEORGE space HARRISON. The fifth one is RINGO space STARR. And the sixth one is BRIAN space EPSTEIN. Okay, there we go. Those are your spelling bee words for today. Now, some of you, I imagine you know what they have in common because 4 of them are the Fab Four. What's the Fab Four? Well, if you don't know who the Fab Four is, it means you didn't listen to the FYI episode on the Beatles, because another name for the Beatles is the Fab Four. The Fab Four. And it was today, in the year 1964, that the Beatles made their first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. And this was their introduction to the United States, their formal introduction to the United States, which, as we know, is a huge market. Now, back then, they were performing in front of a record setting. Now the numbers are a lot bigger. But at that time, they were performing on that show, the Ed Sullivan Show. Also, that was the same show that tried to ban Elvis from shaking his pelvis. That was also the same show that they told Jim Morrison from The Doors that he couldn't sing Girl, We Couldn't Get Much Higher. No podíamos colocarnos más, right? Que puede ser más alto, pero Jim Morrison meant, Girl, we couldn't get much higher. And they told him, the producer said, you got to say, Girl, we couldn't get much better. And you know what he did? He said higher and right into the camera. So it's a very famous show. This was like a show where you would discover all these new artists. Imagine Elvis, seeing him perform for the first time. So this guy too, Ed Sullivan, he witnessed history. And that was a record-setting audience. I'm not talking about the studio audience. I'm talking about the TV audience. 73 million viewers across the United States. And that was another boom. That's the British invasion, as we call it, in the United States. So that's what you're thinking. You're like, okay, well, 4 of the names I definitely, recognized. You got your primary songwriters, John Lennon. He was number 2. John Lennon, which is what my daughter calls me. She calls me John, and I call her Paul. No, I call her Ringo. Sorry, my wife is Paul. We assume different roles here. We wrestle too. When we wrestle, she's Hulk Hogan. I'm Macho Man. So my wife is Jake the Snake. Yeah, seriously, we play characters in this house. We do a lot of role playing. It's fun. It's fun to play, and that's a great way to learn. So when when we're being the Beatles, I speak to my daughter with kind of like a Liverpudlian accent. I don't know if it really is, but I'll say, "Hello, Ringo. Good morning," and she says, "Good morning, John." We love to play these roles. So John and Paul, that's the songwriting duo. My favorite Beatle is the 4th one, George Harrison. George Harrison, excellent. Some of my favorite songs were written by George Harrison and sung by George Harrison. The 5th one, as I said, Ringo Starr, a.k.a. Lara. The drummer. And it's interesting because you guys call him the battery. It's a weird one. The first time I heard that, I was like, el batería. I was looking on stage. I remember I was at a concert with friends. Mira el batería. And I'm thinking, la batería, la pila, in my head. And I'm like, el batería, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And la batería, el batería es buenísimo. I'm like, this guy's driving me crazy with this battery shit. Then I realized he was saying the drummer. So let's go through the different members of a band. Obviously, you can have a 25-piece orchestra, but I'm talking about a normal rock band. You got your lead singer, okay, your front man or front woman, lead singer. You've got your bassist or your bass player, bajista. Remember, it's not bass. Bass es lubina y se escribe exactamente igual. Then some people have one guitar player, some have 2. Usually, if you have 2, you have a rhythm guitar player and a lead guitar player. So rhythm and lead. Again, there are many other variations out there. And then you have, with your percussion, you've got your drummer who uses a drum kit. But that was, I don't remember what concert it was. It was a Spanish group, but I don't remember. It was one of these little like blues shows. I believe it was at La Coquette. Have you guys ever been there in Madrid? Awesome. You've got to love that live music. So, and the first person, let's go back to the first, because the Beatles, you obviously know, we just went over the Beatles. The first person on the list was Ed Sullivan. And again, he was the host of the show and probably one of the most famous presenters ever in American history. I mean, think about that. You introduced your program, you personally introduced the United States to Elvis and the Beatles and so many other great acts. I don't know if there's a documentary, but there should be a documentary on Ed Sullivan and the Ed Sullivan Show. Check it out. In fact, I remember when I used to go to see Dave Letterman, The Late Show in New York City. it was filmed in Times Square at the Ed Sullivan Theater. So just to give you an idea of what a pioneer this guy was in the broadcasting industry. Ed Sullivan. Everybody who came after him owes it to him. From Casey Kasem from American Top 40 to David Letterman, to Jimmy Fallon, they all owe it to Ed Sullivan and Johnny Carson, I would say. So Ed Sullivan was more music based, and Johnny Carson was more talk show and different sections. So those are two classics. If you guys want to watch something in English that's like classic, if some of the humor might be outdated, some of it might not even be allowed these days, check out Ed Sullivan for music. And for talk shows, check out Johnny Carson, because those are the people that influence the people now, and I think will continue to influence people. And the last person on our list, you wouldn't have the Beatles as we know them without him. We're talking about their manager, Brian Epstein. So, folks, and just be careful with that word. Fijaos, no he dicho manager. I said manager. Say it with me aloud. Manager. I know you can manage to say it, conseguir. Folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. The good news, we'll be right back with the second half of today's show with no name. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Oh, yeah. Come on. Here we go. Don't forget, guys, Ximena's triumphant return is just around the corner. That's right, Ximena is coming back. I know she's excited. Reach out. Send her a little message on social media saying, Ximena, we miss you. We miss Test Your English. And we can't wait for your show to return. I know Nacho is on tenterhooks. What? To be on tenterhooks. Se me olvida en español ahora. Tenterhooks. Estar. I'm trying to retrieve it from my hard drive. Let me look it up. Lo tengo que buscar. To be on tenterhooks. Estar sobre ascuas. Okay? En ascuas. En vilo. I know you guys are on tenterhooks for Ximena's return. She'll be on at her normal time spot right after this show. So before this show, fits and no excuses. Then you got 2 hours of an interactive show with no name, followed by Test Your English with the lovely Ximena Holiday, then Rob and Andy's lunchtime show. And then, as if that wasn't enough, you got Tosh Pascua's Back to Basics, and don't forget about the boys. We've got David, we've got Guy, and we've got Kyle every afternoon. Download our free app. Follow us on social media. It's Vaughn Radio. And remember, if you're interested in summer camps or even just finding out more about our Oxford level tests, you can get all the information at our website. It's grupovaughn.com. I think the easiest way, though, is by following us on social media, and this way you will stay abreast. Yes, un pecho es una palabra. You will stay abreast of what's going on in the Vaughn sphere, La Sfera Vaughan. Doesn't that sound crazy? It sounds like some, well, this is a rocket ship, this show, so we are in some kind of sphere here. It's like when the sportscasters say, está moviendo el esférico. It's like, calm down, guy. Just calm it down a little bit. All right, well, folks, or arquero. I think of arquero. I think of Robin Hood. Well, hey, you got to live it. You got to live it. And that's one thing. Okay, they might not have the best grammar, sportscasters, but you can't say they don't live it 110%. All right, well, folks, it's time for our first section of the second half of today's show, and that's homophones. Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, because homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name, because homophones time, because homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. Show with no name. Show with homophones. Show it no. That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. But folks, before we get into our homophones, a nice round of applause for your amiga, our amiga, Monse. Excellent job, Monse. And yeah, I heard the last sentence like that too, but I don't quite get what he's saying. So excellent job, Monse, knocking it out of the park. And Chris Valrol, she's encouraging her, and she says, and I'm only going to read this because we got to move on. If not, we'll run out of time. But I'm going to read this because I love my musical references. Wow, Monse, there she goes. There she goes again. That's a difficult one to sing, by the way, but it's true. Or I got another one for you, Chris and Monse. There she goes again on her own, going down the only road she's ever known. Whitesnake, here I go again. There she goes. All right. Well, hey, there you go. We're singing to you. Monse, did you think that you were going to get serenaded today for winning the Say What soundbite? All right, here we go, my amigos. This is our homophone section. The first word is the name of a movie, but I don't know if it's the same movie. Well, let me just give you the word, and then we'll look at the title. I'm sure Chris can help us with that one. The word in Spanish, there are two words that word reference gives me over here. Presagio, augurio. Okay. So it's a sign that you perceive. I don't know what it is, but this could be a sign of something to come. Un presagio. Okay. Usually it's a negative sign, right? Oh, man. And again, it's a very popular horror movie. So again, you might know it, but I don't know if I can't remember if they changed the name or, los niños poseídos. I don't know. Cachondos chiflados. Los niños chiflados poseídos. I don't know. You never know. You never know with these movie titles. So, presagio. And the second word is what you say when you finish praying. Cuando terminas de rezar. Okay? So you say, I lay me down, before I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I wake before I die, I pray the Lord my soul to, I can't remember the rest. It's in Metallica, Enter Sandman. I pray the Lord before I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul. My mother. Oh my God. My mother used to do that prayer with us every night. And you can hear it it's a little bit darker, a lot darker in the Metallica song, Enter Sandman. Let me look it up. Now I'm curious. The Lord's Prayer, now I lay me down to sleep. Okay, here it is. Let me give it to you here. Take your time, Google. No rush here. My favorite thing is when it opens up a page that tells you it has it and then it doesn't have it. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Something's wrong, something light, something dark tonight, and the answer lie. I'll say your prayers, it's one. Don't forget, my son, to include everyone. Asleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. What does he say there? Exit light, salida de luz. Enter night, entra la luz, la noche, la tiniebla. La tiniebla, I always forget that word. Noche, oscuridad. What did I tell you guys? If you have trouble with a word, find a synonym. All right, so we're getting dark here in this third part of the show. Also, let me give you guys the Say What soundbite. This is the third listen. Please write down what you hear.
Now, most people after a breakup are like, I'm gonna get in better shape. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That is your Say What soundbite. Monse got it already, but that doesn't mean you guys shouldn't at least take a stab at it yourselves. Let's see. Kubla participating in our homophone section. Kubla, those are the correct words. Wonderful job. And he says they don't rhyme. Rhyme or they don't sound the same because it's a different thing we're talking about here, right? So, if I were to rap these words, would they sound the same? Would they see? There's a difference. That's why I want to make sure we know what we're talking about here. Are you saying they don't rhyme or they don't sound the same? Because in this case, I don't think that's the same thing. Now we're getting interesting here. Anybody else participate? I see Kubla got it over here. Cristina says the movie is called La Profecía in English, in Spain, excuse me. So, okay. Anybody else taking a stab at these homophones over here? Only Kubla. And Kubla says they don't rhyme, which isn't really the question. Because let me explain. The end can sound the same and the beginning not. So what has to make a word rhyme, it has to be the end of the word. See, I don't want to split hairs. No quiero buscarle tres patas al gato, but it's important in this example. So let me pose the question for you guys again, and I'll ask everybody, are these words homophones or not? All right. Kubla says, you sounded even better than James Hetfield. Oh, no. I doubt it. And I've got, if you notice, I've got some phlegm. Well, it doesn't help when your daughter's sick every other day. Un día sí, otro no. Also, I understand that from kids from 0 to 3 or 4, they get sick a lot. And then they don't get sick as much because their immune system strengthens, right? It gets stronger. Okay. Chris, I can imagine you singing the song aloud. Exit light into night. Take my hand. We're off to Never, Never Land. What a riff. You want to talk about an amazing riff. All right. Kubla says they aren't homophones. Okay. So interesting here. But do you stick with your original answer that they don't rhyme? That's what I'm curious about too. Monse says, see, singer, teacher. All right, you caught me, Monse. Chris says, I don't know this word, but they are not homophones in my opinion. All right, well, let's say the words. The first word is omen. Oh man, I think this is an omen. Omen. Say it with me. Omen. I don't know, but that dark cloud seems like an omen, right? Omen. Okay. O. Bueno, tiene sentido. Si tiene una O, se pronuncia como O. No siempre en inglés, ¿eh? Porque no es oven, it's oven. Toma. Right? No, it's towel, it's towel. Right? So, in fact, write that one down. I've heard so many people say oven, right? Oven. So this one is Omen. And there's a movie, excuse me. There's a movie called The Omen, The Omen 2, The Omen 3. It's a series of movies. All right. And the second one has two pronunciations that I've heard. Amen and Amen. Amen and Amen. So the ending is the same. Omen, Amen. Right? So men is the ending. The difference comes from that first sound. In all of the cases, they all have a different first sound. So let's say all the words. Presagio, omen. I think it's an omen. Oh man, I think it's an omen. No es igual, pero para que lo veas. Oh man, I think it's an omen. Amen. Amen. Los dos valen. Amen, como vosotros lo decís, and amen, amen. And we don't just use it in church. If somebody says, hey man, you want to get a beer? I think we should get a beer and have a pizza. And I'll say, amen. Así sea, por supuesto. Amen. Hallelujah. Well, you guys already met my buddy, Pastor Pete. He was our pastor back in church at our parish, right? You know the word parish? Parroquia, I think you say. The parish. All right, my amigos, it's time to move on. We're going to go to a place that I love, and I know many of you love. It's the movies. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie only on the show with no name. Let's take a look at today's movie that we've got for you. And could it be The Omen? No, I'm not going to make it that easy. Or maybe it is The Omen. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let me give you guys a little clue. I like to give you guys clues. Okay? And here we go. A nostalgic look at radio's golden age, focusing on one ordinary family and the various performers in the medium. Somebody's tuning the radio. Sintonizar, we say to tune. Oh, hey, keep it on that station. Hey, man, why are you always jumping around? Choose a station and stick with it, preferably Vaughn Radio. So a nostalgic, interesting, because you say nostalgia, we say nostalgia. O sea, misma palabra, pero nostalgia. And the adjective is nostalgic. So the noun is nostalgia. The adjective is nostalgic. I'm feeling nostalgic, and there's nothing like a little nostalgia from Coney Island. For example, I know I've used this word a lot, and I know exactly when I used it. And we're going to look at it right now. But first, congratulate our winner, the movie queen, Chris Valrol. The movie is Radio Days. Remember, we don't say radio, Radiohead or Radiohead. Okay. So radio, it's called Radio Days. It's a Woody Allen flick, una peli de Woody Allen. And you know where we use this? There's the connection. Recently, I released 2 episodes. I gave everybody the bonus episode free, and I released 2 episodes of FYI on radio. And on those episodes, you'll hear from all kinds of amigos. You'll hear from Jules. You'll hear from Guy Williams. So if you haven't heard those episodes, give it a listen. And there's one thing that we all agreed on. Okay, and I noticed it in everybody's comments, and nobody talked to each other before. They sent me their participation separately, you know. And what I noticed was everybody had one word that came to mind when they thought of the radio: nostalgia. So there it is. It takes you to another place and time. And in this day and age, you can even interact with the radio. As you know, you do it every day. And you can use the radio as a learning tool. So you can be entertained. You can get your news. You can learn a language. You can learn about any topic you want. And now radio has evolved too, where you can listen to podcasts where it's radio without all the fluff. Todo lo extra, you know what I mean? Podcasts are more conversational. They're less, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, of course, there are all kinds of podcasts, but podcasts are more conversational in general. So I love working on the radio, and this is a great movie. Even though I'm not a big Woody Allen fan, I've got to say, this movie, he hits the nail on the head. And he said in an interview, the music, by the way, the music in this movie is gorgeous too. And he said that the movie, he being Woody Allen, said that the idea for the script originated from an idea of these songs that meant something to him. So he just started making a list of all these songs that brought back some nostalgia to him, and songs that were important in the development of radio when he was growing up. Because remember, before TV and all of that, people would sit around the radio and be entertained by the radio. And I got to say it, I notice it with soccer. I don't pay for DAZN or Movistar. I can't. It's too expensive, and I don't end up watching a lot of games. It's cheaper for me to go to the corner bar and order a beer and watch a game, right, than to pay a monthly fee for games. But what I've noticed is a lot of times now I'm listening to games, Real Madrid games, obviously, because I'm a Madridista, as you guys know. And I've been listening to the games on the radio. And I don't want to say it because there's nothing like watching, oh, wow, look at that goal. But on the radio, I feel like it's so much more exciting. And I also feel like since they don't have a screen, well, they're looking at a screen, they have to tell you in detail what's happening. And they really, really convey, transmitir, that energy. So we're talking a lot about sportscasters today, aren't we? Also, this is, as some of Woody Allen's movies, he always takes from his own experience, but this one was pretty autobiographical. Okay. Also, this is a rare instance of Woody Allen not being in the film. He's not in it. He's the narrator. So his voice is in the film. All right. And this is a classic. As Chris says, I love Diane Keaton. That's right. It stars Diane Keaton, Mia Farrow as well. Mia Farrow from La Semilla del Diablo. Qué cabrones, ¿eh? Semilla del Diablo. Me has contado al final de la película en el título. Yeah, because in English, it's Rosemary's Baby. So we don't know that the baby's possessed by the devil until the end. Or it's the spawn, semilla, the spawn, progenitor del... Progenitor might be the word. Spawn. Es un comic, by the way. So an interesting one there. Woody Allen, it stars Mia Farrow, as I said, and it came out in 1987. And I remember watching this in a film class. I've told you many times I had a film class where we studied great film directors. And the class was a movie theater. It was this auditorium in the Film and Arts building on campus. And I remember the teacher said, bring in your lunch. It was around lunchtime. Bring in popcorn, whatever you want. Don't make a mess. And our class consisted of watching a movie. So I think I told you the other day when we looked at John Ford, we would watch 2 John Ford movies in class. Okay, so we would just go by director. And so we would study 2 John Ford movies, and then we would watch, and then we would have to watch a third one of our choice on our own. And then we would have to write a paper saying what this director's signature was. It's called the auteur theory, that any good artist has a signature, and you can see it. And he always chooses strong female leads. No tiene que ser porque un movimiento de cámara. It can be just a convention that they always use. He always appears in his own movies. He always has a cameo, for example, right? And this is called auteur theory. And I remember studying Woody Allen. As much as I despise him as a person, I think there's no doubt that he's an amazing filmmaker. The only thing is now I think a lot of his movies are a bit repetitive, but he's still Woody Allen. I'm not. So let's take a look at this movie. The narrator, aka also known as Woody Allen, says about a therapist's radio show. Está hablando del programa de radio de un terapeuta, ¿no? Alguien que está dando consejos. I found the show silly. I'm going to try and imitate Woody Allen. I found the show silly, and I always imagined my parents on it airing their standard complaints. So I always imagined my parents on it, en este programa, airing, dejando su, to air your grievances es quejarte, soltarlo, ¿no? Airing their standard complaints, sus quejas estándares, right? And then the mother says, he's a business failure. Es un fracaso en el negocio, en los negocios. He never finishes what he starts. Nunca termina lo que empieza. We're forced to live with my relatives, and thank God for them. So, estamos forzados, obligados, nos vemos obligados to live with my relatives, parientes. So your family is usually your immediate family. Your relatives could be aunts, uncles, everybody. And thank God for them. Y menos mal que están ellos. And I should have married Sam Slotkin. Yo tenía que haberme casado con Sam Slotkin. And his father says, Sam Slotkin's dead. Está muerto. Remember, dead, muerto, death, la muerte, and to die, morir. Okay? And the mother says, yeah, but while he was alive, he was working. Pero mientras vivía, trabajaba. And the father says, she'd be lost without her whole family. Estaría perdida sin su familia entera. And being around her all the time. Estando alrededor de ella todo el tiempo. And you should see him. Deberías verles. See them en vez de see them. Se come el TH, como yo. They're like some kind of tribe. Son como una tribu. Casi digo un tribu. Una tribu. They're like the Huns. And the Hun Attila was a Hun. Attila the Hun. Maybe if I had married a more encouraging woman, who knows? Quizás si me hubiese casado con una mujer que me da más aliento, quién sabe. So they're bickering, right? Arguing, como una pareja, to bicker. And the mother says, so who do you think is right? And the host says, I think you both deserve each other. Creo que uno se merece al otro. Folks, we've got to go to our final commercial break. I can't believe it. We've got so much to do in the last part of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. That's right, amigos. You know it. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. I hope you guys are learning. I hope you're laughing. And I hope you're jotting this stuff down because we're looking at a lot of different things today. Structure, pronunciation, tricky words, false friends, and whatever else comes up. Ahí tenéis el else. Whatever else. Lo que más viene surgiendo. Whatever else. Lo que sea. All right, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. So many challenges in this, the fourth and final part of today's show. Don't forget, stop by our website. It's grupovon.com. Also, you can stop by our online bookshop. It's vontienda.com. We've got Trivia Night, March 1st, hosted by Guy Williams at Roll Madrid. Don't forget, you can learn English with your Amazon assistant. Also, starting this March 2023, you'll be able to test your level, your English level, here at Vaughn using the Oxford Test of English Standard. So much more. Remember, if you follow us on social media, you'll find out about everything that's going on in the Vaughn sphere, the Vaughn world. All right, my amigos, let's get rocking with today's Double Trouble. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, this is a section of the show where we look at a translation with a twist. And hopefully you guys will be able to figure this one out. I think it's relatively easy, but again, I've been wrong before. In fact, people who say that they don't make mistakes or they're never wrong, beware. Ten mucho cuidado con esta gente, right? I never make mistakes. I had a student, a lo mejor, this was the icing on the cake. I had a student tell me, Alberto, I don't do mistakes. And I said, you mean make? Se quedó la tía. She was like, yeah, eso. I mean, you could say in English, I don't do mistakes, pero significa como que no es lo mío. I don't do goodbyes. Yo no hago despedidas. No es lo mío, lo de, okay? But that's not what she meant, obviously. So I said, you mean you don't make mistakes? And she goes, yeah. Well, I go, there's your first one. Ahí tienes la primera. But remember, there's no shame in making mistakes because that's the only way we learn. All right, here we go. Si tú quieres vivir como un rey, necesitarás una fortuna o un dineral, you say. So, si quieres vivir como un rey, necesitarás una fortuna / un dineral, a lot of money, right? There you go, folks. Remember, you do have to use the same word twice. That's why we call it double trouble. Also, I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. I think, as well as Monse, I think Kubla, you got it as well. Excellent job. Here is the last listen.
Now, most people after a breakup are like, I'm gonna get in better shape. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya.
There we go, my amigos. There we go. That is the final listen of today's Say What soundbite. We'll talk about who it is, where it's from, what he's saying, and we'll try and figure out what the person is saying in Spanish or Spanglish or I don't know. Remember, guys, when people learn Spanish in the United States, they usually don't learn Castilian Spanish. We learn Spanish from Central or South America, from the Americas. It's normal. The same way a lot of you guys focused on your British accent, right? You focused on your British accent. And really, American English has a wider scope. It reaches more people. And obviously, we're in charge as when it comes to entertainment, the entertainment industry, show business. So I always think it's a crime. I've had British friends, not most of them, but a couple teachers I've met along all along the years, and teachers who would say, oh, don't say it like that. That's American. And I'm like, are you telling the person not to be understood by 300 million people because it's not yours? That's selfish. Eso sí que es egoísta. So I do the opposite. Usually, if I come across a word that has a different pronunciation or even a different word is used, especially when we talk about cars in British English, I like to point it out because I think I'm doing you a disservice by not telling you there's another way to say it. Even though the American way is the correct way, yeehaw, there's another way to say it. All right, let's take a look at today's double trouble. And you guys often prove to me that there are other ways to say my translation. The key is you have to use the same word twice, and you got to be saying the same thing I'm saying. You can't change the meaning because then it's not the exercise. Let's see. Kubla's always creative. And he says, if you want to live big, you'll need big money. Well, there's an example right there. Not the example I had, but a correct example. If you want to live big, vivir a lo grande, to live high on the hog, I love that one. If you want to live big, you'll need big money. That works, Kubla. I like it. I'll take it. Let's see. Leonardo says, if you want to live like a king, you will need a king's ransom, Leonardo. Unbelievable, dude. I don't know what you've been having for breakfast these last few days, Leonardo, but wow. That's exactly, word for word, what I have written here. So if you want to live like a king, lo decimos igual, you will need a king's ransom. El rescate de un rey, we would say. Ransom is the money you pay if someone is kidnapped, okay? So a king's ransom, think about it. Un rescate que pagarías por un rey, like an important person, not like, some idiot like me, for example, which I don't believe that. Obviously, you guys know as an American, I don't feel like kings and queens or politicians are above the common people. Quite the opposite. We are the ones who fund them. Le financiamos nosotros. So when they're like, el gobierno gasta mucho dinero. No, gasta nuestro dinero. I always remind people that. Sometimes we forget, oh, they're spending a lot of money on bullshit. No, they're spending a lot of our hard-earned money that they take from us on bullshit. Now that hurts more. That adds insult to injury. And to add insult to injury es hacer algo, una situación mucho peor. So te lesionas, you got an injury, you got injured, and I say, you're an idiot. Añado un insulto. Encima que te has caído, yo añado un insulto. To add insult to injury is the expression. All right, Monse taking a stab at it. She says, if you want to live large, you'll need earn large. You'll need to, tendrías que decir. Y el earn large, I think it would be understood, Monse, but it's a little bit forced, that one. But we've already looked at a few different ways to say it. The one that I have here is, si tú quieres vivir como un rey, necesitas una fortuna, un dineral. If you want to live like a king, you'll need a king's ransom. All right, my amigos, it's time for your joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, folks. You're joking only on the show with no name. This is where I tell you a couple jokes and we see if you guys get these double meanings, if you get these puns. You know the best way to remember a joke and to remember this vocabulary? By telling the joke to somebody. So this is a great thing. If you have an English class, students who are in class with me every week, you'll know I love a little humor. I love when my students come to class. Hey, got a joke for you. So do that. You can, maybe not one of these, find your own jokes. Who doesn't like a joke? Even a corny joke will get a little chuckle. I usually get an eye roll. Oh, God, cuando miran hacia atrás, it looks like their eyes are going to go back in their head, like they're going into some kind of fit. All right, here we go. Where does royalty prefer to sleep? Okay, ¿dónde prefiere dormir la familia real? No, gente real, la realeza, realeza, I think you say. So where does royalty prefer to sleep? Easy. In bread. Don't get offended if you guys are royalists. I got nothing against royalty. I'm just American. We don't do it. It's not our thing. We don't do, mira, acabo de enseñarte I don't do mistakes. I don't do kings and queens. My daughter's the queen here. Well, no, my wife's the queen. I'm the king. And the princess is the one who's really running the show. You want to see a royal family? All right. Did you guys get this joke? Anybody get it? Okay, let's see. Monse says, in a king-sized bed. Kubla says the same thing. I like it. It's good. But you could also say queen-size bed as well. So what about that in bread? In pan? ¿Duermen en pan? Well, what if I told you that como una palabra, inbred, I-N-B-R-E-D, is endogámico? He's an inbred. His family has done a lot of inbreeding. To breed is procrear. So breed, bread. So if you're an inbred, procreas dentro de... it makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, that's funny, isn't it? Where does royalty prefer to sleep? Inbred. So the difference is in bread, in pan, and inbred. El acento donde ponemos el énfasis es diferente. Okay, here's one, and this one has a king size and queen size bed in it for you. Those of you who were looking for a joke with the king sized bed, if there's a king size mattress es colchón, so colchoneros, mattressers. If there's a king sized mattress and a queen sized mattress, where does the prince sleep? Okay, So if there's a king-size mattress and a queen-size mattress, where does the prince sleep? ¿Dónde duerme el príncipe? Oh, easy. The air mattress. The air mattress? This is brilliant. You got this. If you don't tell any of them, tell this one in your class. So if there's a king-size bed and a queen-size bed or mattress, where does the prince sleep? The air mattress. Kubla, nice. You got it. Air is aire, o sea, el colchón de aire, estos que tiene mucha gente, right? You can blow them up, inflate or blow up. No es explotar en este caso. En este caso es hinchar. So the air mattress, very common. If you have visitors, you have a small apartment, you have an air mattress, right? You can blow it up in a couple seconds and it's very convenient. But also the air, que se pronuncia igual, H-E-I-R, is el heredero. That's right. So the heir to the throne, for example. The heir to the throne was Felipe in Spain. Now he's on the throne. But until his father abdicated, he was the heir. Esa H es muda, okay? So there you go, my amigos. And I'll give you one more. And this one is, well, let's see if you get it. These are tough jokes today. Why did Prince Andrew get the Queen's corgis? Okay, and these are the dogs, the Queen's dogs. So why did Prince Andrew, El Príncipe Andrés, I think you call him Andrew, Prince Andrew, get the Queen's dogs? Because he was the most experienced groomer in the family. Oh, God, I think I crossed a line there. Me he cruzado la raya un poco ahí, I think. Yeah, well, a groomer, somebody who grooms dogs, right? So you can take your dog to the groomers and they will groom, peluquería canino, right? Also somebody who takes care of horses. You groom the horse, right? So it's got another meaning too. A groomer is somebody who preys on young people. Acecha, usa como presa la gente joven. And what does this mean? Están preparándoles so the typical, you've seen this many times. So the neighbor, that weird neighbor who's Mr. Nice Guy, but he's been, since your kid, God forbid, espero que esto no pase a nadie, he's been talking to your child. Oh, trust me, I'm your neighbor, and grooming that child, preparing that child for a relationship that's inappropriate. Okay, so I'm trying to explain this without getting into gross detail, but a groomer is somebody who is sexualizing children, preparing children for something that is totally illegal, And Kubla says it's a pedophile, similar, same idea, but it's specifically one who's working on a child's trust and manipulating a child and their relationship from a young age. Be careful with these people. And Prince Andrew, as you guys know, best buddies with Jeffrey Epstein. That's right. And that was the guy who trafficked underage children, and the one who just magically committed suicide, and no other names came up. Isn't that interesting? So where were the clients then? If Prince Andrew, why aren't these people in jail? The other guy, de hecho, it's funny, I'll teach you the difference. To commit suicide es lo haces tú. If you're suicided, es lo que le han hecho a este señor, because he knew too much about too many important people. And we're not going to get into that, but you'll see that word referring to these people, right, who are preparing young girls and, getting them ready for inappropriate relationships, sexualizing them. It's disgusting. So, but do you get the joke now, though? Why did Prince Andrew get the Queen's dogs? Well, he's the most experienced groomer in the family. And on that note, I think it's time to move on to our famous birthday trivia.
1, 2, 3. Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. You know it. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. Remember to tell me if and when. Well, I'm sure you are celebrating a birthday, but tell us, or if you guys want to tell on one of your students, Chivarte, let me know when it's your birthday. We'd love to send you a special shout out here on the show. Also, I want to urge you guys, I'll say the address again. Jaime, are you paying attention? The address is the email address, aalonso@grupovon.com, aalonso@grupovon.com, and you can send me a message. Keep it under a minute, okay? And share something with us. A joke, maybe something you learned, something you found interesting, or you just wanted to say hello and encourage everybody, alentar. Remember, send me your messages. We've already heard from my daughter several times. We've heard from good friends of mine from back in the day, and we've heard from some of our students. So now we're waiting to hear from you. Let's take a look. Today's famous birthdays. The first person was born in 1942. An American singer, songwriter, and musician. Her last name is Rey. We looked at the word rey today. A ransom. We looked at to live like vivir como un rey. So that's her last name. And her first name means villancico. Si le quitamos la E, pero se pronuncia igual. Villancico Rey would be this person's name. And she's written songs for movies. She's written songs for Broadway. And she's written her own albums. And let's say this. She wrote 61 hits, okay, temazos, that charted in the UK, making her the most successful female songwriter on the UK singles charts from 1962 to 2005. That is a long time to hold a record. She has won 4 Grammy Awards. She was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where she's been inducted twice. So we're talking about a serious artist here, singer, songwriter. One of my favorite songs of hers is Will You Love Me Tomorrow, which you've heard versions or covers of this all over the place. The next person was born in 1945, and her first name is Perdida en Combate, missing in action. No se pronuncia así, porque en inglés si decimos missing in action, decimos MIA. But that's her first name. And you saw her in Rosemary's Baby, La Semilla del Diablo. She was married to Frank Sinatra. She was married also to Woody Allen. And she's a very talented actress who's been working for decades. She was in The Great Gatsby, Death on the Nile. I don't mean the new ones. I mean the old school ones. She was in Alice, The Purple Rose of Cairo, Hannah and Her Sisters, Radio Days. She's been in so many movies. I know you know who she is. And last but not least, this guy was born in 1987, an American actor, singer, songwriter, and pianist. He plays the boxer Adonis Creed in Creed and Creed 2 and Creed 3, where he will make his directorial debut, Creed 3, which is coming out soon. And folks, we've got a winner. It's Chris Valrol. Number 1, Carol King. Number 2, Mia Farrow. And number 3, Michael B. Jordan, not to be confused with Michael Jordan, the basketball player. And this is Michael B. Jordan talking about a breakup and talking about what kind of shape he was in post-Creed. Después de, y la palabra Creed, credo, Apollo Creed, right? And he says, now most people after a breakup, ahora la mayoría de la gente después de una ruptura, say, I'm going to get in better shape. Me voy a poner en mejor forma. And he said, but I was already in Creed shape. Yo ya estaba en forma de Creed. Ahora, no se dice eso, se diría en tip-top shape. Eso vale. Pero aquí está hablando de la película. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya. And I see a lot of you have tried to analyze what he's saying. It could be, también estoy en mi raya. I'm hitting my mark, ¿no? Cuando estás haciendo, because he's doing a monologue. So it could be that, estoy en mi marca, estoy en mi raya, too. I don't know, but good luck, Michael B. Jordan. Hopefully we'll understand you sooner or later. But I thought it was cool to share that with you guys who are also learning a language. Let's hear Michael B. Jordan, Creed.
Now, most people after a breakup are like, I'm gonna get in better shape. But I was already in Creed shape. So I had to be like, all right, I guess I'll learn a new language. Anyway, estoy en raya.
All right, there you go, folks. And it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. We literally have about a minute left. So thank you for all your hard work, for all your participation today and every day. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here with us. I'm going to give you the song. The song is Carole King, the birthday girl, Carole King, and her song, Will You Love Me Tomorrow? And this is a version. Again, there are many different versions. This is her version of the song. Again, thank you so much, guys. You are incredible. Sing it with me. Look up the lyrics. Carole King, Will You Love Me Tomorrow? And speaking of tomorrow, we'll be back tomorrow with more Show with No Name. Remember to keep listening to Vaughn Radio all day long and to continue learning and laughing. All right, we're going to get a little bit sappy, un poco ñoño. Ya sap es la melaza esta que sale del árbol. Es como pegajo. Sappy. Our last word of the day. Let's go.
Tonight, you're mine, complete.